Hi everyone, I'm Aurora Newton,
And I'm Angie Bailey.
and this is Ask the A Team. So today we are going to talk about reconnecting with our spouses.
Mm.
So if you're not married, this will give you some great insight into someday being married. And if you aren't called to be married, that's okay too. It still will give you some great insight into relationship.
Yeah.
But as you know, we keep talking about it, my big vacation. Um, but we took a vacation and we haven't done that in years. And it was just such a sweet time for Scott and I to just be together and just hang out, just do things like go out and eat together, just hang out by the pool, even take 5 minutes to talk. So we spent a whole week together, and we still love each other even more. I make that joke, but sometimes people have a hard time spending time with their spouses because we spend so much time away from them. We spend so much time on our children, so much time on our work, and just all these other things that can pull us away from that relationship. And it's so important. It's so important to make sure that that is number one in your life. And there's a like that little diagram in my head that always goes off. First, my connection with God. So God, me, but next is my spouse. That is really the way that connection goes. That's really scriptural, and it's so important. And I know that you also just had a little getaway with your spouse. So why don't you share about that?
So my husband took me to Pittsburgh to see my most favorite band of all time, U2, ever. And so he went out of his way. It was for my birthday, and he went out of his way and he booked this really great place to stay. It was an old mansion converted into a hotel.
Unbelievable
I was
place.
like, honey, what are you doing? He was like, listen, I did the math. And that's my husband. He's a good steward.
Got to do the math.
And he said it's only $30 more than the hotel. And some of the places charge that for parking a day. And this place has free parking. I'm like, awesome. So it was really cool.
I love how he thinks.
It was really cool. Back in the day when it was a dormitory, Andy Warhol lived there.
No,
It was
that
very,
is so
it was very cool. It was right on, right off the campus of Carnegie Mellon, and just such a beautiful area called Shady Side. And so we got to go there and reconnect. Old house love. So we loved seeing the restoration of this old home. And so that was just fantastic for us to get to reconnect. And I remember several years ago, after we had kids, we didn't have our first, and we were married 3 years when we had our daughter. And I remember us being, the double income, no kids, and we used to just go wherever we wanted to. And I mean, it wasn't like super, excess or luxurious or anything,
Right.
but we could go
Freedom.
if we, yeah. And a lot of it's, just picking up and going somewhere, even if it's just on a walk somewhere really long or something, without, strollers and baby and all those things that you have to take. And so I remember the first trip that we were ever planning after we had children. My mom told me, because she was going to be watching the kids, she was like, well, Angie, I didn't, sorry mom, I'm going to tell the story. She said, Angie, your dad and I didn't do this sort of thing when you guys were this age. And I said, Mom, you and Dad divorced when I was 10. And she was like, okay, where are you going? And so it's so important to remember to reconnect, because after the kids are grown and gone, and I'm seeing many of my friends and people I know in this season of their life, is the empty nest season, then you're there with your spouse and you're like, hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Who are you? Who are you?
Who are you? And what do you want?
Oh, you're the father of my children,
Yeah.
And that's about all I know.
Well, and and for me, like my story's different than that with
Yeah.
Scott
Yeah.
because we are a blended family, and so we came into our marriage with children. So I think that's why this vacation
Challenges
was
all
so
its-
huge
yeah, yeah.
because we literally, I don't think we've ever taken just a vacation. We've gone to a conference for a couple of days, but we've never taken intentional time
Yeah.
just to go away together, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And we're almost in that season of empty nesting, so It's just exciting to think about that, just to know that,
Mm-hmm.
after all these years, that we really we
Mm-hmm.
enjoy each other,
Yeah.
and it's important.
Yeah, it is very important.
Enjoy your spouse.
And when you have those moments to take, whether it's a staycation and somebody can just take the kids, or the kids are going away to camp, or something like that, just still those moments away, even if it's a date night.
Absolutely.
Date your spouse.
Yes.
um, Make sure you don't talk about the kids. Don't talk
About
about
work.
Reconnect. Talk about your dreams. Talk about your plans together.
Where are we going?
Yeah, where you used to be and where you're going now
Yeah.
together, and reconnect on that level. It's just so important, because someday it's going to be the two of you. And it's really important to fight for that, because you do have to fight for that
It is
in
a
today's
fight.
culture. Because
There's so much
Yeah.
to take you away.
And-
And here's a little tip. PDA is okay. You can hold hands. You can put your arm around each other. Guess what? You're married. You can even a little kiss here and there,
Mhm.
right? Doesn't make people feel uncomfortable.
No,
It actually makes people feel good to see that kind of love in marriages.
it's good for your children to see too.
Yes, it
Very
is.
good. Very healthy for your children to see. So, but it's just so important to reconnect on those levels, and not lose who you are
Yep,
together.
Together.
Yeah. It's so easy in our culture today, I think, too,
It is.
to say, oh, we grew apart. Well,
You just
it's
throw
a
it away.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a choice that you make every single day. And you brought up an interesting.
It's a fight. Yeah.
Yeah, being, another marriage and already having children coming into that. I've seen this over and over, and have counseled where I've never been in that situation, but I've been the child
Right.
in that situation. It was very interesting when my mother remarried, because for 9 years she was single, raising my brother and I, and we had all her attention. And then when she married my stepdad, she knew biblically that had to change, and that was
That's
was
an
hard in and
intentional
of itself,
shift. It
because
really
you
is.
said, it's God, it's spouse, and then it's children. And when those come out of order because of divorce or death or whatever, it's a hard adjustment to make.
It really is.
But it's so necessary, because that's who you're in a covenant relationship.
It is.
You've made the choice. It hasn't been by birth, biological, or any way
No.
like that. It is a choice that you have made to enter in a covenant with somebody. And so it's just so important to keep that covenant connection.
It is so important. And having been someone from divorce, I can say that. And I know that Scott would say this as well. We are so blessed that God brought us together. But if we knew then what we knew now,
Yeah.
we would have really fought and contended
Yes.
to keep the covenant relationship before.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a hard thing to say and hear, especially if you're in that season. But Angie and I have both those perspectives. We have a child that came from that, and we have a woman that didn't fight always the way that I should have. So really hope that this touched you in some way. I really do. I know Angie does too.
Well, we're fighting for all of you now to encourage you
Yes, we are.
to keep that connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Mhm. If this has helped you in any way, please like and share. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.